Hello, you beautiful individuals. We are back again, most likely with the last part of this, I imagine. I think I'll make it through the rest of it. Maybe not, though. Who knows? If I don't, I don't. But, yeah, not really much to say. It's just Kent Hovind's Worst Debate Moments Volume 2. Did it for the past two videos, and just gonna keep going with it because I like it. It's a nice little compilation that Atheist Jr. put together. As always, I will have his channel, tagged in the bottom, and the video link, of course, as well. So let's just get into it.
Yes, I believe all humans, dark or light-skinned, are related. I've never seen a black man.
So no, you're absolutely wrong. The skin color stops it from being able to absorb too much sunlight, and that is why it's there. And that is a good example of something that if it hadn't evolved, it would have died, and that is us. And us to the north with dark skin do not get enough of the vitamins that we need out of the sun. So we are designed to absorb it or die, and they are designed to reject it or die. So there is a perfect example of evolution. And I know you tried to bring in that there was some kind of a racist tone to that. My wife happens to be, or my girlfriend happens to be a black lady, and they prefer to be called black, not brown. So she is a black woman, and she's from Grenada.
So, Mark, you believe darker skinned people thrive and do better and actually need to be sunlight down near the equator. And the further north they get, the more dangerous that is. Yet you brought a Grenada woman up to Canada. Are you trying to harm her in some way? She needs to have a long talk with somebody about that.
Okay, listen. For one, that's not really his point. He was talking about as an evolutionary basis as to why humans evolved to have more melanin in their skin in certain cases and less in others. But more importantly, out of all the people in the world who shouldn't be saying crap about harming their wife, it should be you, Mr. Kent Hovind. You pathetic small man.
Yes, they can interbreed. You're still human. Try to breed with a chimpanzee. Get a dark or a light-skinned one. Find an albino chimpanzee if you'd like. It won't work, okay?
Yeah, because they're different species. They evolved separate species at some point. I mean, that's not up for debate. Don't know what your point was there, Mr. Hovind. That was just dumb.
I didn't bring a Grenadian woman up. She's lived here her entire life.
Yes, we have these.
Like, I do love that Hovind didn't even consider that a possibility. I mean, in his world, he's much more for the trying to control a woman. So he just, I guess that thought didn't even cross his mind.
Decided to put arbitrary borders and say when the kid turns 13, he's now a teenager. That's what the word teenager means. We have decided that humans go through different stages of their life, okay? They go through the stage of infancy and then childhood and then puberty and then adulthood. It's still a human. That is not the same as these charts showing an amoeba turning into a whale. The amoeba.
Oh my God, dude. How many, I understand he says the same thing, but it's just, and I've seen other people comment that basically saying what I've said before, where he clearly knows what he's saying is wrong, but just does it for the, because that's his shtick and that's how he gets his money. But I mean, none of those books show that. They don't show that this one creature turned into another. They're just showing essentially a family tree. Well, family is not really the right word, but they're just showing how things are related and that everything evolved from one thing. It's not saying that an amoeba turned into a whale or whatever other nonsense. Oh my God, this dude.
Amoeba. The amoeba. The amoeba.
You keep using the word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
I like that. That's pretty funny.
Over over small changes, slowly. This is what you're trying to say. You're trying to hide the truth, Horacio. Stop it.
Man, I'm happy you said his name because I'm not gonna lie, I would have butchered that if that's even how you say it. It seems like it. It makes sense, right? I have no idea how to pronounce that though. I'm horrible with names. Like, not even gonna try. But I do love his look on his face the entire time. He's just like, dude, why am I doing this? Why am I talking to this ridiculous man?
You think the amoeba turned to a whale, don't you?
No, the way you say it, no.
Okay, tell me how it happened then. How did the amoeba?
Dude, it's not the way he said it, that an amoeba turned into a whale, but you did just say it slightly before that, where you said, gradual changes over a vast amount of time. Like, that's how it happened. I mean, that's just is how it happened. That's how life works, at least on this planet. I mean, oh my God. It's astonishing that you can explain it. Like, how it works, but yet your small mind just can't grasp that it's true. You just have to stick to this. I mean, and again, like I've said it before, but how does that not make sense? But all the animals being on a boat, and then everything we have today would have had to evolve from that boat only about 4,500 years ago. That makes more sense to you? I just don't. I don't understand how his mind works.
Is this chart telling the truth? It's got a whale on there. Did the whale have an ancestor that was an amoeba?
It is a bad representation, and that's probably why you are misunderstanding it and
He's not even misunderstanding. He's just being an idiot on purpose to spew this shtick. But again, I mean, he's not wrong. It's not a great representation. It's simplified, of course. It's not going to show every single species that's ever existed, because that'd be one heck of a big page to do that. But it's just showing like this. This is not saying that, something here turned into something here or vice versa. It's just showing that everything can be traced back to common, organisms and creatures. It's not like just all of a sudden something turned into something. It's showing a simplified version to get the general idea. That's all it's doing. It's just one page, man. Like, there has been countless species over the, however many billion years that life's been around.
Represented it because it is not very good, but that single cell organism at some point became multicellular, which we have seen happen, and then it started accumulating different traits that would spread through different branches of that tree. It's not just one that started to create different things, but a little branch created another set of branches, etc., etc. Does that make sense? Of course.
No, not to anybody, including you. Okay, you believe this. This is not science. We don't observe any of this. Science.
Dude, you don't need to directly observe it to make it quote unquote science. Observation is absolutely a big part of science, of course. Like, observing that's ideal, but you can't observe. You just can't observe everything. You can't observe species that are not alive anymore. It's just not possible. And more importantly, you know what you've never observed? Anything in the Bible being true. Anything. Not a single thing. You haven't observed any of it. Never observed a flood. Never observed Jesus rising from the dead. Never observed, Moses splitting the sea. You never observed God. Never observed any of it.
This is what we can observe, study, test, and demonstrate. Look up the word science in the dictionary. Seer, to know. What do we know? We know amoeba produce amoeba. We know cows produce cows. That we know. We do not know that an amoeba can turn into a cow over trillions of generations or can slowly add information. These charts are deceptive.
You absolutely can observe genetic code adding information. I mean, that you can observe that just from a parent to a kid. I mean, there's new genetic information within that kid. Like it's just that's absolutely observable. But whatever, I digress.
They are lying to our kids. I resent it. That's all. If you don't have any evidence for your theory, get a new theory. But drawing a bunch of lines on paper between the different creatures is not science.
No, it's a simplified version of what happened. I mean, dude, it's just to give people the idea of what happened. It's not. This isn't a research paper. This isn't. This is probably most likely from either a middle or high school textbook. Like this isn't even most likely a college level textbook. But even if it is a college level textbook, it's still, dude, it's just one page. You wouldn't have enough room to add everything. And guess what? We don't know every species. We haven't found every species, and most likely we'll never know every species that's ever been around. It's just because a lot of species didn't make it. A lot of them died off nice and quick. And it's just, oh my God. Just feel my brain rotting away every time I hear him speak.
And but they do this all the time in the textbook.
That you don't accept it doesn't make it go away.
It doesn't need to go away. It doesn't exist. There is no evidence for anything on this chart. This chart shows a protozoa slowly becoming a jellyfish, a mollusk, an insect, a human, a reptile.
No, it does not. It just doesn't. Dude, the protozoa isn't even at the base. I mean, it's near the base, of course, but it's not showing that turning into that. It's just showing that these creatures share a common ancestor. A protozoa, a single-celled organism. That's all it's showing. It's not saying that it turned into all these things. It's just saying that they have they all share a common ancestor. You're just an idiot.
A frog? If you trace the lines back, you believe, if you believe this type of these charts, you believe you're related to a frog. Do you believe you're related to a frog over billions of generations? Yes or no?
Not in the way you are phrasing it, no. And that specific chart is like super dumbed down, and it's just a cartoon of it. I don't think it represents at all what evolution mentions. But let's go back to what you were saying, that it is not science, because science is what we know. But at some point, science comes to something that we don't know when we find out through science, and that's evolution. We found out we didn't know that. We found these evolutionary mechanisms, we understood them, we studied them, and then found the evidence through the fossil record, through, like I mentioned, these experiments that make single-celled organisms go to multicellularity. We see speciation, and those things help us understand through time how things happened, not in the way that your cartoon shows a protozoa going to biology, because that's not how it happened.
And if you think the top layer is younger, I've never had an evolutionist answer this. They claim the top layer is younger. Where did it come from to be younger?
I was hoping you would bring that up.
Well, is it coming from outer space? All the layers are the same age.
And this has been answered a couple of times. I hope I can phrase it better for you. Yeah.
I mean, honestly, man, it's not going to matter how you phrase it. You could phrase it in the most perfect way possible, and he's still never going to accept it. I mean, he believes that all the layers got laid down by the giant flood, and I guess any layers before the flood were just God, apparently. I mean, that's his explanation for everything, is God did it.
Yeah. The atoms that make that strata are the same age because they were created at the same time. Let's say Big Bang. But we are not measuring the age of those specific atoms. We are measuring the age of that configuration, that rock, that strata that was created. So you always say, if I shuffle a deck of cards, is the card on the top younger? No, but it's been on the top for the less time. The one that is on the bottom was at the top of that pile before the last one. Does that answer your question better? Like they
I mean, it actually does. Like, you explain that in a very very good way. I like that explanation. It's not going to matter to him, but I do like how he said that. It was a nice, it's a way of explaining it that anyone can understand, and it expresses it well. And I like that. But I'm sure Hovind's response here will be, "Duh, I'm too dumb to understand. God did it."
They were created at the same time, but they were ordered at a different point, and they were laid down at a different moment. And that's what we are measuring.
Well, all the atoms to make up the deck of cards are the same age. All the cards are the same age. So you are saying by me moving it from bottom to top, I have now made it younger.
No.
That's not what
It's not what he said at all, my dude. He's saying that bro, come on. Like, there's no way you misunderstood what he said there. It's just that the top layer has been at the top for is not as long as the bottom layer has been at the bottom. I mean, I don't. How did you not grasp what he said there? Are you just purposely being dumb now? Is that what's happening?
It has been on top for less time. It's not younger in that way.
So it's still the same age. It's just, well, then how can you date the fossils you find in these layers if moving it doesn't change the age of it?
Just said that, because it's not about the age of the material that the layers are made out of. It's about the age of when the material was laid down, was when the layers were created or formed or whatever. Like, he explained it in a very elegant and simple way, so even a 5-year-old, my daughter, could understand that. But apparently, you're too thick-headed, full of Bible dust, to be able to understand any of it. I mean, sometimes I truly think that Hovind knows that he's wrong, or knows what he's saying is ridiculous. But then he does stuff like this. It makes me think he's actually just an idiot.
That's the importance of understanding that, because you are measuring the time that specific layer was laid down. You're not aging the atoms. You are aging the configuration and that strata, how it was and when it was laid down.
Okay. So in your thinking, in your understanding, your religion, you believe a fossil that is found in a certain layer can be assigned an age because of the age of that layer. Is that what you believe? Okay.
No, the age of how long ago the layer was formed. That's a little different, but whatever.
So if you found a human bone or footprint or anything in a layer that was way down at the bottom, that would mess up your whole theory, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. So if there are fossils called, just Google OOPArt, out of place artifacts, where down in deep layers they find human artifacts or human bones.
I've done that, and I've researched that, and those are either hoaxes or misunderstandings. So
okay, I feel the same way about evolution. It's either hoaxes or misunderstanding.
No, it's just, oh my God. No. Okay, just no. Like, there's explanations for why, those out of place artifacts have been there. Or like he said, they were just genuinely a hoax, or not real. But that's happened as well too. But still, no matter how much you want it to be true, you've never found human remains with dinosaur fossils, for example, genuinely, to where there's actually no reason for it, no real explanation.
I've been watching Kent's videos for almost 15 years now. I think I first saw his material when I was in middle school.
15 years. Wow. Man. Good on you. I could barely handle this for as long as I've been doing it. 15 years.
So you could say it's been a long time coming. It's not exactly like meeting your childhood hero, but maybe a childhood villain might be more apt. So using a genetics test, we can tell if two samples are siblings, i.e. they share a recent common ancestor in their parents. Sequence homology is definitive proof of relation between people in a court of law, and it counts as concrete scientific proof of relationship. Every legal court and scientific paper in the world accepts this. And so does Kent. We can take any 3 humans on Earth and use genetics to prove that person A is more closely related to person B than to person C. In other words, we have just proven that person A shares a common ancestor with person B more recently in the past than they do with person C. Creationists like Kent will agree with all of this logic. After all, they believe every human shares a common ancestor in Adam and Eve. But somehow, Kent wants to draw a line to say that for some reason, this exact logic, which for some reason Kent will say that this does not apply between species. He will say that you can't look at the sequence homology in the DNA of humans and chimpanzees to say that this is clearly proof that they share a common ancestor. Kent's primary argument here is that humans and chimpanzees are different kinds of animals. He will say that the Bible defines kinds as 2 creatures that can bring forth, i.e. reproduce.
When your mother and father's genetic material got together and formed the embryo that was going to turn into you, okay, was that following a code of any kind? And is that a pretty complex code, the DNA code you have?
Yes.
To say a human being happened by chance over trillions, quadrillions, quintillions of years is insane.
Right. I'm not saying it happened by chance, though. You just asked, does this thing happen without a designer? That's a false dichotomy between something happening without a designer and something happening just by chance. I don't believe it happened just by chance. So
God said, bring forth after their kind. You know an example where this didn't happen? God said they'd bring forth after their kind. He said it a bunch of times. Maybe even you might get it.
I've been
here.
Yeah, but he didn't say it, okay? Some people wrote it down in a book and said that he said it. But he didn't. He didn't write the book.
You turn all the animals in the world loose out into the pasture, they will seek out their own kind. Our cows show no interest whatsoever in the sheep or the pine trees or the oak trees or the grass. They want to make...
Well, I mean, I'll argue that that's not true because I've had dogs. They'll hump anything. Like literally anything. They don't care. Other animals, stuffed animals, rocks, trees, they don't give a crap. So that's kind of a dumb thing to say. I know that's not what he meant, but, you know.
The animals that do. Like, for instance, dolphins are known to try to have sex with humans whenever they see them. This is a known phenomenon. There are several types of toads that will try to have sex with just about anything. So does that mean that a dolphin and a human are the same kind? If dolphins are attracted to humans and try to have sex with them?
Yeah, maybe they're deprived and horny. I don't know why the dolphin would do such a thing.
A lot of money to swim in here. So you gave it to me for free. Thanks, pal. Hey, I owe you one. Maybe I'll buy you a beer. Hey, what are you... hey,
Welcome to
Okay. Sorry, I had to get through that little ad there. I like that ending. That was pretty funny. But good job, AJ, for those little edits. Those were rather hilarious. But anyway, yeah. They probably weren't deprived and horny. Animals just like to bang. I mean, all animals basically. You know, humans, apparently dolphins, dogs, like I said. Ooh, well, we did get through all that. Took 3 parts for some reason. I probably shouldn't have taken that long. But that's all right. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell for the ring-a-ling-ding thing, and until next time.